Hello everyone. So whenever I do a no batting quilt and I post about it, I usually get a lot of questions. So this is really literally the simplest thing you can do. So I think a lot of times people overthink this sort of thing, and that's where a lot of confusion and questions and stuff come in. It's really that simple. So instead of doing yet another tutorial on this part or that part, which I have lots of videos of those, I'm just going to basically sew real time and you can see things. And if I come up with anything that I think is relevant, I'll let you know. So it might be a bit of a boring-ish video, but let's just sort of see how this goes. So this quilt has no batting in it. There's nothing in it. And yes, you can put different things in it. Even to make it a summer quilt, you can do all kinds of things. I just don't, so that's what we're working on. The back is cotton. It is a wide back and it's cotton. Everything I use is cotton for the whole thing, and because otherwise things are going to pucker like really, really funny, and we don't want that. It's also doing the least amount of quilting possible. You don't have to over quilt these things, and actually you shouldn't, because it just puckers and looks really, really funny. So keep everything pretty much where lines are. You don't need to be doing all the fancy stuff. So if you're not someone who is confident long arming, if you're not used to wanting to do tons of quilts, or if you're like me where I'm dyslexic, and part of my dyslexia is I see a lot of things in patterns, and when I look at a quilt that's been like heavily long armed, I just see those lines. I can't see the fabric, I can't see the design. I literally will just follow those lines and it drives me nuts. So that's why I don't do that. So let's just do this. So here we go. This is it. It's kind of hard to see through the light. The machine I have is called a Baby Lock Jazz 2. They're inexpensive. They have the really long neck on it. It is mechanical, so it doesn't have like a cut thread button or anything. It does have needle down, but honestly, this thing is the biggest pain in the butt known to man. So I don't overly recommend it. However, if you're doing a quilt like this, you can actually just do it on your standard machine as well. And I do recommend, if you can see through the glare there, using a walking foot. Okay, that's going to keep the two layers feeding nicely through. Stitch length, I usually have about a 3, and I pin. I always like to pin. The reason I like to pin is I'm going to be selling these, so I don't want to have to put through the washer and dryer, because nobody, even though I'm highly allergic to chemicals, I still don't want to sell things that have been through a washer and dryer. And I just like pinning. I actually find it therapeutic, and you also know where you are because the pins are there. So this pin's going to come off, and I know that I've done all those other parts because they're pinned. So that's it. It's just very simple. I just do stitch in the ditch. I'm just trying to think of any other questions I could ask. I think just the biggest thing is everyone just wants to make this more complicated than it is, and it's literally so easy. And I think that's one of the hardest things in design, is just keeping it simple. This sort of method comes in really handy if you love to do a ton of applique and you're not sure how to quilt that applique. If you make it into one of these, which basically, I guess historically, these would be called coverlets. And they're just to go over the bed. It does provide warmth. It's also breathable because it's just cotton. Basically, it's like having 2 bed sheets put together. So it's great on a summer night and stuff, or if you have a lot of hot flashes. But even just on your bed, if you don't want to have a big quilt on your bed, but you want to have pops of color and a lot of fun stuff, I mean, you could heavily applique one of these, and because you don't have to overly quilt it, it actually looks really, really cute. You could also just stitch around everything too and just tie it down, because you're not really having to really protect anything. Because when you have batting in here, you've got to like get that batting so it's not going to bunch and fall apart and stuff, which is why you have to do batting at certain intervals. There's nothing there, so you don't have to worry about that. your pins get stuck underneath your needle, just pop it up and take them off. And there's always strings. There's strings everywhere. I like to pull the strings out as I go because I'm seeing them instead of doing it afterwards. It's quite therapeutic because you're not really fighting with anything. So if you guys think of any questions that haven't been answered in my other videos, please go through the videos because there's probably answers to those questions. Do let me know, and just, don't be afraid. Just do whatever it is that you want to do, and try something on a smaller scale if you think something might work or a method might work for you, or you're coming up with a new method, or just don't be afraid to do something fun. Just remember, whatever you make, you're making. It's your creativity. It's your design. You're the artist. You get to have fun and not follow the rules. I like to start these from one end, like from a middle, and go across, and then quarter turn it, start in the middle and go across, quarter turn, do the rest of that line, quarter turn, do the rest of that line. I just find it helps to push the fabric back a little bit more so you don't get too much bunching. I'm always terrified that something's going to bunch in there, and just like any other quilt. There we go. That line is done. Because these aren't big and bulky, you can just sort of run it through, move it over, and then just continue down your next line. It has such an awesome weight to these. I love the weight of them. It's crisp. I don't know. It's just this great weight. And they make great baby blankets because you just want kids to be able to breathe. So if you do smaller versions, are great for the car seat and stuff because they're not thick, so you can tuck it into a lot of things. They're fantastic for that. So that is no batting quilting, and I hope it makes it so that you're not afraid to try it. And if you have tried it, I hope you love it. It's not for every quilt you make. It's not for every person, but nothing wrong with knowing all the different things that you can do. And just make sure that you have fun with it. Happy sewing!